This is exciting. We get to see our old pal, Demi Lovato, who looks magical.
Thank you.
I must have missed out on the breaking news that you cut and styled your hair like that. Maybe I've been doing it for a while, but this is the first time I've seen it like live in person.
Yeah, I did this. I cut my hair off in like November. I like shaved the back and left it kind of long on top, and then I dyed it pink, and
Yeah.
then I went from pink to dark and shorter. So yeah, here I am.
This looks cool. I like it. It's a very cool look.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So here's what I was thinking. We've got new music to talk about, and we've got your docuseries to talk about too. So I thought what we do here is talk about what so many of us have seen on YouTube, and then we'll get into music a little bit later. Uh, I watched every episode that's been posted, and I saw and heard everything that you had to say and that your friends had to say. And I wonder, you've been through so many, chapters of good and ups and downs and bad and, life-threatening moments. How hard for you was this, or was this a cleansing for you that you were really, really wanting to do?
I like to call myself an open book with boundaries, because being so open and vulnerable to people is not something that's new for me. I have been sharing kind of the skeletons in my closet since the first time I went to treatment when I was 18, because I just didn't want to ever have secrets that people could hold over me, or I don't know. It's just better to not have secrets. And so that's why I kind of always took this approach of just laying it out on the table. It obviously has been difficult. It's not easy talking about the things I'm talking about. They're very heavy subjects, and but it has been very cathartic, very therapeutic. I feel like a part of the reason why I haven't fully healed is because I hadn't talked about some of the things that I talked about in my docu-series. For instance, in the third episode, those were things that that had happened to me 13 years ago, but I had never talked about because I just was trying to keep something to myself. But I realized in doing that, I didn't actually allow myself to heal, because I was just keeping it to myself. And the more you shove something down, the more it wants to overflow. So it was a part of the healing process, talking about some of those painful things. But ultimately, it's been a very therapeutic process. And my album kind of acts as the unofficial soundtrack to the documentary.
Sure.
Yeah, it's gone hand in hand, and it's been pretty good.
Demi, the day that we all were in the midst of our day and saw a helicopter flying over your house and reporting, on the news, your overdose, what did you know you almost were at the step of death? What did you know?
To be honest, I didn't know anything when I woke up in the hospital, because it's kind of like when you in a movie, when someone wakes up and they're like, "Where am I?" That's what happened. The last thing I just didn't expect to be in a hospital bed. And I woke up and I asked my mom, I was like, well, where am I? What happened? And she told me. And I was devastated and disappointed in myself. I was on a path that I felt invincible, and I didn't think I could end up there, but I did.
I also, and to watch this, and there are several graphics that come up that talk about, if you are having problems, get help, seek help. So, I mean, this is almost like a public service in a way to help people too, because you're certainly not alone, and you certainly weren't alone. And I think that, people can really appreciate, how you've had to overcome the ups and downs. And do you remember when I called you years ago to come on American Idol, like the last minute? It was like the day of, and we said, would you come down and do the live show? Do you remember that?
Was it when I had really long hair?
Yes. Yes.
Actually, that's 2 times that I did American Idol. Did I have
it was like it was like I think so. It was like a last minute. I remember I actually think we called you like the morning of the show to come down because the contestants were such big fans, and it was really a cool thing.
And I sat in like the
yes, you sat over on the couches.
Yes.
Yeah, you sat on the couches.
I remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember at that stage of your life, like where were you? What were you battling then?
At that point, I was sober, and I was in recovery from my eating disorder for the most part. It was kind of right before I started extreme dieting again, which I feel like it pulled me back into my addiction. I was in a good place. And I say that like that because I was doing all the things that I was supposed to be doing. And I was somewhat happy at the time. But I think for years I played a role that I felt like I had to be and I had to play. And I just got tired of being that.
Hiding.
Yeah.
Hiding.
Well, or just like kind of playing the role of the feminine, sexy pop star who has shared her skeletons in the closet and now is kind of the poster child for recovery. It's not really something that I ever really signed up for. It was just, I kind of just, went through the motions.
And the other thing that I found interesting that I learned from watching your documentary series on YouTube was you said that many times addicts, after they go to rehab, when they come out to relapse, they go for harder things. They go for things they never would have done.
I've heard the saying that there's no better place to learn how to commit a crime than jail. And it's like, to a certain degree, I had never heard of certain drugs until I went, no, I take that back. I'd heard of certain drugs, but I just never knew anybody that had done them. When I went to treatment for the first time when I was 18, I got curious. And like I said, I didn't do any of those drugs until 2018. But it's just, look, I had become curious to certain things that I just had never been introduced to before. And when you have people around you telling you, if you relapse, you're going to relapse harder, you're going to die, you start believing the things you're being told. And so whether that was the case or not, I ended up doing that because so many people had been in my ear saying,
putting that in your head.
Yeah. And so then I did. And I wish that someone had just kind of had a more gentle approach by saying, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be magnetic.
Right. Demi Lovato with us. Demi's album, Dancing with the Devil, The Art of Starting Over, is out now. Demi, let's come back and talk about this new music, which is great.
Thank you.
In just a second. That is Dancing with the Devil. Writing this came freely because there were so many things to think about and so many things to cover. And do you do melody first, lyrics first? How do you do your songs?
This song in particular, I went into the studio with a friend of mine and someone that I love collaborating with. Her name is Blush. And we went into the studio and me and her had a piano player. He played some chords. I said, let's make it sound like this, use minor chords. And so he did and came up with kind of the chords, and then we came up with the melody. And that's how it came about in that particular instance. Every song is different. Might be the concept first. It might be the melody or the lyrics and then the melody. So it just depends.
And when you will get a chance to tour and perform these, how is it reliving some of these moments? Or does it become a little bit just, autopilot because you've sing them so many times, you heard them so many times?
I wish that I could say that it wasn't autopilot, but it is a little bit. There's a certain like routine that I just feel like I snap into when it comes to learning new music, rehearsing it, performing it. I kind of have it down like a formula now. Yeah. But I think that the weight and the lyrics of these songs are so much heavier than anything I've sang before. So it's difficult to just sing about it anytime, especially there's a song called ICU, and it's a song from my little sister, Madison. And it's a really emotional song. The lyrics are pretty heavy, and it's hard to perform live for sure.
Yeah. I could imagine.
You have a song with Ariana Grande, and I read a story a while back that you and Ari got together, had lunch, green juice, I don't know, whatever you have.
Sushi.
And sushi?
Yeah.
Oh, where do you go for sushi? Because I'm a big fan of sushi.
I can't tell you on here. I don't want to give away.
Well, have Chantel.
It's one of those.
You don't want everybody to go there?
Yeah, I don't want people to start showing up and then her be like, wait, my sushi spot has been blown up because you told Ryan Seacrest on air.
Okay, well, tell your PR person,
respect.
Chantel, whom we both employ, to send it to me. Okay. Cool. So you guys get there and you order, unagi and sweetwater eel, whatever you order, rolls, sashimis, sushis, maybe a platter of everything, right? Some edamame, some seaweed salads. Let's go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Some shizu.
And what was the meeting for? What was it about? What was that conversation?
We had met, we hadn't seen each other in a minute, and it was good to catch up with her. But I also wanted to connect with her because I was looking for new management, and there's a certain like energy that some women have, right? We're like in the industry, we're like, they'll be your friends, but they won't let you use their glams team or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little competition.
It's kind of like you won't let us use your sushi place. I get it.
Okay. I'll you. No, but and so I wanted to make sure that I knew that I wanted Scooter to be my manager. I knew I wanted to take a meeting with him, and I wanted
Scooter Braun, who became most famous when he signed Justin, I guess, at the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I knew that I wanted to work with him. I'd wanted to work with him for years, and but I also didn't know how to approach that with Ariana, and given that we're not super similar, but we're both females in the pop industry around the same age, and so. I thought it was important that we have a conversation about it. And she just was the most supportive. Like, she is the type of person that will give you her glam squad and then some, and then her manager. Like, she's just like that. She's a rare breed because, and I don't know if it's because she's so talented that she doesn't have to be insecure about it.
Right. She just has exactly.
Oh, sorry, I cursed on there.
That's
okay.
right.
We got you.
Okay,
we knew what you said.
Yeah. So it's like, but she also, I think that's just her heart, and she's also really, really, really smart. So when she was like, yeah, absolutely, like I want you to be in good hands. Like I don't want you to end up with anyone that's, not going to treat you well. And I know Scooter's a really great guy. And she was so supportive that not only did she give me the blessing to like work with Scooter, but also, and not that I needed any blessing. It's just like a respect thing. And she also, after I played her Dancing with the Devil back in 2019, she had heard the song and remembered the lyrics. And when she started writing this new song called Met Him Last Night, she had me in mind, and she was like, I need to write this for Demi. And so she ended up sending it to me, and I loved it. And I was like, can you stay on it? Like, you sound so dope. And she was like, no, I'll be like mystery harmony lady. And I was like, no, the world wants to hear you too. Like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, really? Are you sure? Okay. And then she sang. It was so good.
And it's
Aw.
another great song. And
Mhm.
the album, you can check out all of it, Dancing with the Devil, The Art of Starting Over, which is out now. What you said was so cool. Out of respect, you didn't need permission, but
Yeah.
out of respect, you went to her, and the reaction she had for you was, hey, the more of us that are successful, the better off we all are. And
Yeah.
and Katie is a friend of mine, Perry, and we work together. And she and Taylor extended the olive branch because they felt the same way. What are we teaching younger girls if we're not sharing or competing or fighting? Like, what does that say to a younger generation? And so
It's just negative. And it's so important to spread love and positivity and and healing. And the only way we can do that, especially women who have been oppressed, I feel like
Yeah.
we like women are typically more oppressed than men, and we got to stick together as women, so it's just really important. And I'm so grateful to have a friendship like hers, because she's awesome.
So, Demi, happy to see you, psyched about all of this that's going on for you. Can't wait to have the sushi. Lots of good things here. All right. You take great care of yourself. I know you're surrounded by a lot of good people, and you're talented. We're really happy to have you and have you back.
Yeah. And thank you for doing the documentary. I think it's helping so many people more than you know.
Thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. Thank
All right.
you, guys.
Take good care, Demi. Bye.
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 Demi Lovato there. A lot of new great music, and that documentary is powerful. And, there is takeaway for anybody that's battling things.